All right, welcome everybody to the March 25th, 2025. Brian? Video's on, audio's on, so can you please just, until we get going. Welcome to the March 2025 meeting. We've got minutes from last meeting. We've got new business, a sketch plan application for Autumn Inc. I'm not going to read all the maps and lots, it's too many of them. And then a site plan application for 318 Bakerstown Road. So we can start with the minutes, please. We do have a quorum that can sign this. So.
You are, but you can't vote on that too.
Can I have a motion, please? Accept the minutes as presented.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes of March 11th as presented.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor? All right, under new business, we got a sketch plan application for Bakerstown Road for Autumn Inc., map 13, and then lots 9, 10, 16-14, 16-14A, 16-15, and 34A. See Terradine's here and Brian's here, so if you want to kind of walk through what's happening here.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name is Tim Mishu with Teradyne Consultants, and Brian Merrill, the applicant. We're here to present the application for the Autumn Inc. Stonewall Crossing subdivision off Bakerstown Road. What we're proposing is a 49-lot residential subdivision. It encompasses 6 lots, and it includes approximately 126 acres of land located in the Village 3 district. And as you can see by the plans on the board, we've highlighted in green what we're proposing for open space for the project. And the project, the green encompasses approximately 80 acres, or 63% of the property to be preserved. You may recall that Teradyne and the applicant were here presenting on October 8, 2024 for a 15-lot subdivision on lot 615, which is right, you can't see it on this, it's right here, this lot. We were proposing a 15-lot subdivision, and we have since rescinded that application, and now we just completely want to put that into open space and focus on the other areas of the project. What we're proposing is 3 roadway systems to be constructed in town standards. The first roadway, see, I just can't see on that. The first roadway is approximately 3,300 foot long extension of Jessica's Way, and will intersect with Bakerstown Road approximately a half mile south of the current Jessica Way intersection. The Jessica Way intersection, as people probably know, is here. And what we're proposing to do is connect all the way over to Bakerstown Road down here. And this is the first phase of construction. We have had wetlands have been mapped by Mark Hampton Associates. There are 3 vernal pools on the project, one approximately here, one approximately here, one approximately here. And so we have protected them and put the vernal pools into open space. Then we have a second road called Beaver Tail Trail, which will intersect Jessica's Way extension, be approximately 3,000 square feet and terminate with a cul-de-sac. So that would be this road here. And we have a loop connection also, and then the third road would be Stonewall Crossing, which will intersect Beaver Trail and be about 1,600 feet long, will terminate with a hammerhead. So this would be this road here. So the applicant would definitely like to be constructing this once he has all state, federal, and local approvals in phased construction. So that would be something that we would present to the board when we get into the preliminary plan and final plans of the application. Each lot will be served by individual wells, subsurface wastewater disposal fields, and electrical power and communications from existing utilities found within Bakerstown and Justice Way. The stormwater management for the project proposes, and we're working on the stormwater management design right now, but we're proposing to utilize existing forest and meadow buffers to the greatest extent possible to minimize disturbance to existing lands and to utilize the natural vegetation found on the 130 acres. And we will be supplementing that with our phosphorus control, utilizing the forested buffers and probably 3 or 4 gravel wetlands located at the downgraded locations of these roads. We're probably, and the gravel wetlands will be located within the open space as well. And that will be what we'll use mostly to control our pre-post stormwater flows and to get us some phosphorus control along with our buffers. The property generally bisects Tripp Pond and Thompson Lake, so we will be doing phosphorus for both of those budgets for those lakes. We do have 1 stream crossing and we're approximately about 8,000 square feet of wetland impacts for the project. So, having said that, we'll be looking at a site location of development permit from the DEP, a Natural Resources Protection Act Tier 1 permit for the wetlands, and a NRPA permit by rule stream crossing application as well. And Army Corps will be reviewing those applications for wetlands and stream crossing as well. Basically, my presentation, I think I know with Scott, we've been through the whole deer winter yard process. We've had a wildlife biologist do a large survey over numerous weekends, and then he teamed up with a state of Maine biologist to verify what's going on and make recommendations. And so what we have done is, by this bold line here, is what the state of Maine has said should be considered to be the deer winter yard. And so naturally, we just put all of that into open space for the project. Having said that, we will be opening this up for questions, but one of the questions that we did have was, we're going to be doing permitting for the state all at once. But the question would be, if we wanted to, if the applicant wanted to construct this in phases, would we present site plan applications in phases, or would the town require us to do the entire project all at once? That's a question that we had. If you don't have the answer to that tonight, that's something that we would want to be talking about further with the town as to how to proceed. Because we could see the first phase being connection of this road, making that loop connection. Phase 2 is making this loop connection, and then the third phase being up here. So we're not sure how the town would want to proceed with future site plan applications, or if it wants to approve the whole project at once. But again, we can discuss that
Well, I mean,
further.
do you have a preference on that, Scott? I mean, obviously, if you're gonna try to develop this to the fullest extent possible, you're gonna have to piece together everything at the end, phosphorus, this, that, and everything else, so.
Oh, yeah, so
You know what I'm saying?
the stormwater and the wetland permitting with the state and with Army Corps would not be piecemeal, that would be all at once. The question would be, how would we present to the town?
So present it as
One.
As
full
one.
plan with a phasing plan.
Well, typically a phasing plan is construction plan, we would look at it like a development plan, I guess. Phased
Right, but
development.
there could be a timeline.
Designated.
There are a 3-year timeline where you would look at something like this and.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could like show your, getting back to Scott's stuff, all the, stuff from the town's end could be your road construction, say phase 1. and then just have these other areas highlighted as the different phases and so
Sure.
forth. And then when you come in with that, it's kind of like construction stuff, that's what you're asking.
Site plan amendment, I guess,
Yeah.
is what we'd be looking to do.
Right, because, so then we could look at phase one, if it was Jessica's Way, phase one complete, then you could start issuing permits.
Right. But that's something we can discuss more with Scott,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
once we get our, again, as I said, we're working on our stormwater management plan right now, and so the next phase for us is to get our permitting together and get that submitted to the state. Obviously, the permitting review processes are taking a little bit longer these days than they have been in the past, so it's something we want to proceed with right along. But having said that, unless there's any more specific questions, I'd like to open any questions up to the board at this time.
I guess my first question is, the green area that's in the current Wildwood subdivision right now,
Yeah.
how are you tying that back to here? It's just, that's just gonna be an amendment to that subdivision to put that into open space, correct?
Correct?
All right, so it has nothing to do with this whole other thing when you're saying you got 120 something acres and you're keeping a certain amount in open space. That doesn't matter because that's an existing subdivision. If you want to put that land in open space, that's great.
Right.
But you can't use that to offset something in this.
Right, so, yeah, I can't speak to if that actually applies, if we're using that land to apply towards the net residential or not.
I don't see how, because it's part of an existing subdivision. Unless you tie that land to to your current subdivision, I don't see how you can use that to
Well, I think
net
that's,
density.
I think
That's what we
I
would
think
do, all
that's what
out,
we're doing, yes.
basically phase 2, 3, and 4 of Wildwood.
Would you want it physically tied or tied by deed?
So the applicant is in the process of,
Well, how do you tie something that's part of an existing subdivision to a separate subdivision that's adjoining? I mean, I understand it's an
well,
adjoining.
because that was reserved for, this parcel was reserved for future development.
Well, there were two parcels of the original Wildwood that were reserved for future. There was a 20-acre parcel that Brian's nodding his head about, because he tried to develop that into 2 lots
Yep.
multiple years ago, and this big parcel here. So I see this as Wildwood, whatever. I just see the boundary of that, prior to him purchasing all this other land, as an existing subdivision, that anything that's part of that, if you want to put something in conservation, that's fine. You want to save it for development, that's fine. I just don't see how the two can be tied together for net residential development area in something that's not part of the
Well,
overall.
I think the process is that the parcel didn't count towards the net residential for Wildwood. It was just a 30-acre parcel of land that was reserved for future development. That was-
Within Wildwood.
That was owned by Just Right,
Mhm.
which is now being transferred over to Autumn Inc., which is the application for the other parcels.
All the land will be, or is gonna be all automated. It's all gonna be future phases of the original subdivision.
I mean, I understand what you're trying to do. I'm not saying I'm right and I'm not saying you're wrong,
Absolutely,
whatever. I'm just
absolutely.
saying, as a straight face test, to say I'm gonna take some land over here that has very little wetland in it and use that to do net residential area in the subdivision that's next door to that. This isn't like a filling permit that you can, protect wetland somewhere by filling wetland. So I just don't see how those two jive. And speaking of that, so you're saying that the other areas in there that are not shown in green are gonna be part of this, whatever you're calling this new subdivision? At the top where Potash Brook goes into, up by the Rogues property there, you're not showing that area, and then the big weird,
Up here?
yeah, that one and the one above that. Are you using that land too for your net residential?
No, those are just gonna be retained.
Okay, so those are just retained,
Yep.
okay.
So what we're showing, the boundary with the green, and the boundary is what we're proposing for the Autumn Inc. Subdivision, of Stonewall Crossing. So the land that is not green in here is being used as part of the net residential. Now, I believe we're pretty far over on our requirements for open space for the project. But I can, so minimum required open space is 33, and we're proposing 63%. Now, of course, a lot of that does have to do with the deer wintering yard.
Right, and the wetland, which you can, my whole concern is, we had another application before us at the last meeting that had huge wetlands like this and so forth, so, I mean, we're gonna need to see a net residential area not underneath the roads and underneath the wetland. I need to see that for starters, because that's gonna determine your net residential density that you can build to, whether it's gonna be a traditional or a cluster, because that's gonna determine how many lots you can put.
Right, now, we did develop the original. So this is proposing 49 lots. And we did develop a plan, non-cluster, with 2-acre lots. And we came up with 45 lots. And obviously, some of these lots are not great, and there's a lot of environmental impacts going on as well. So we did look at this, and then we went towards the cluster subdivision and applied those requirements for the net residential calculations over here. So we have a total parcels 1 and 2. We took out the right-of-way areas, and we took out the wetland areas outside of the right-of-ways. So we have subtracted those out. So that, I believe that's what you're talking about right now. So we have the total parcel area, we've taken out the right-of-way areas, and we've taken out the wetland areas outside of the right-of-ways to get a net residential area. And then we applied that with the 80,000 square foot to come up with 49.22 lots, and we're proposing 49 lots. So we did proceed with that exercise. And of course, as I said before, down below it is the open space calculations, 33% required, and open space is 63%. So we are saying total parcel area, we are saying parcels 1 and 2. So the parcels 1 and 2 are the Autumn Inc. areas, and we're showing 4 areas of open space.
Even though these are phases, to me, their overall footprint there, of that, it looks to me like a major subdivision to me, that many houses,
Well,
that
it
many
is.
lots. It looks to me, the overall footprint, it's gotta be a subdivision, there's no way out of it.
Well, that's what they.
Whether they wanna split it off and make residential part of it,
No,
it's still,
it would be a
What's the
major
question?
subdivision application.
Yes, it is a separate subdivision application,
yeah.
that's what it is.
So I believe Wildwood has the net residential area and the open space areas to be a standalone subdivision. And what we've done is taken just right out of this 30 acres and applied it to Autumn Inc.
I mean,
But we can
I
discuss
mean,
this
yeah,
further outside.
we'll need to get some
I
clarification
agree.
back on that, because just to me,
If this was a full amendment of Wildwood,
well, that's what I'm saying, if this was an amendment to Wildwood saying this is being taken out, then you could.
this issue wouldn't be,
Correct.
yeah.
But still, it's the whole issue of tying something, it'd be like me saying, I've got 8 acres of land over here, and I get 7 acres of land over here, they're not contiguous, but I can put the land into tree growth. You just can't do that, because they're not contiguous.
You're probably right, we probably need to amend the Wildwood subdivision.
Correct.
And so it's a great point, and then we trying to pull this all together, we didn't get to that step yet. And that's why we wanted to have this discussion, so I think we agree that we probably need to amend the Wildwood subdivision site plan.
I mean,
And
even
ensure that the net residential areas and the open space calculations are good for Wildwood minus the 30 acres that was reserved for development as part of the Wildwood subdivision, which was approved back in 2011. So we were talking like 14 years ago at this point. But we probably should amend that site plan.
So, once again, I just guess I'm not following, because if your net residential area calculation that you provided here only is dealing with parcel 1 and 2, that doesn't include this 30 acres in Wildwood, or does it?
That might be parcel 2.
Okay, well, I guess when I look at open space 1, open space 2 versus parcel 1, parcel 2, I think you could clean that up a little bit if you're
I
gonna
think
be
we-
doing a description like this.
Yeah, I think we need to clarify that a little
Yeah.
better.
What about the 2 lots at the new end of Jessica's Way?
The 2 lots, got building permits for already.
You know, they have to have an entrance. Where the DOT is not gonna give an entrance out there on Bakerstown, so they're gonna have to have an entrance from that subdivision, so I think they have to kind of be part of this.
I'm sorry, I guess I'm not following your question.
So they don't have road access
Who
right now,
doesn't?
those 2 lots.
The 2
Which
that I
one?
got building permits for already,
These 2 you created, they don't have access yet.
I have entrance permit for that.
You have an entrance permit for here, I've never seen entrance permits for here.
Yeah, I have one, and the state should have sent you it quite a while ago.
State doesn't send those.
Well, we'll make sure you get it, because I definitely have one.
So they're gonna give you 3 entrances there.
3 entrance? No, just 1.
So how do you access these 2 lots?
Gonna come off the
Off the new road.
new road.
So then that would
Have to
have to
be
be
part
part,
of
that's
the
what Scott's
subdivision.
saying, is then that would have to be where you're picking up your
If-
road
if-
frontage.
If you want it to be part of the subdivision, we'll make it part of the subdivision, but
Well, they're getting access from that road, right?
Well, and then, well, actually, the,
it's a shared driveway at the moment.
I believe this lot here and this lot here actually has the required frontage on Bakerstown.
They do, but the DOT's not gonna give you 3 separate entrances to Bakerstown. They're gonna have.
Well, they
they're
might
gonna-
have to ask them, but
Well, you could try.
I mean, just a
I-
driveway.
I know that they're gonna say that they're gonna want those combined.
Okay, and we'll have to,
Yeah.
work through that with the DOT.
It's not exactly a great corner as it is.
Yeah,
well, that's why I took me so long to buy this property, because that's the best site distance
Right.
around.
Yeah, and I don't doubt that, I've seen the entrance permit for that. I'm sure you'll have to have that amended again for the 49 lots, or 51 if this is the case.
Yeah, whatever is required, I'm happy to do it.
as long as we meet the net residential, that's what we'll be doing. So, again, this is great discussion, you're bringing up good points, so I think that's where I didn't do the net residential calc, so I'll be completely honest, so I don't know completely about the 30-acre lot. So I'm just being straight up
Mhm.
here. I don't wanna
Well, I mean, number one, it's a sketch plan, it's just to
You're right.
figure out some stuff, and I mean,
correct.
we're not getting into super minutia here, other
Yeah.
than you guys have done some things earlier on, and.
Yeah, but I just want to
Thoughts.
be right up front about this.
Yeah.
So we are talking about, and this makes perfect sense, that we should be amending the Wildwood subdivision so that is a standalone subdivision that meets all
Mhm.
town ordinance requirements for open space and net residential calcs
Mhm.
and road frontages and such. And then I believe that's where that'll clarify the parcel 1, parcel 2 that we're having a little bit of confusion on.
Mhm.
And then, as always, we're talking about the DOT, and Scott's basically saying that he doesn't see how the DOT would allow driveways proximate to that entrance down there, and that they would be required to have frontage off the new roadway. So that is something that we would be pursuing to promote safety on Bakerstown. And if we needed to get rid of other lots, readjust our concept plan essentially since the net residential currently right now, we are at 49 and the net residential calc is 49.22. So we're maxed out. So if we had to adjust, we'll adjust that accordingly.
All right,
Obviously, we can find lots that aren't the best and swap out.
so I'm seeing an empty lot here without a lot number on it too.
I see it too. I don't
So
know.
it sits between lot 12 and lot 20 on the beaver tail.
It's lot 11, that's what we're missing.
Yeah, it's down there.
Oh, that's 11, so it just doesn't have a number on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it didn't get labeled.
it happens.
No, it does happen when you see everything labeled, you got this big open.
No. No, sorry about that.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But no, I completely understand the questions about the 30-acre lot, I get that. And
So-
we should have been more, provided better clarification on that before we came here.
So these vernal pools, have they been positively identified as significant vernal pools, or are these just places where they gotta send
No,
people out?
Mark Hampton has done the surveys in season.
So he did do it in season, so
He
they
did,
are
yep,
significant,
and they were done last year.
and they're significant vernal pools?
I don't think these would,
Well, we're showing 250-foot setbacks off them, so that means they are,
That means they're significant,
yes. Yep.
at least,
That's what you're showing here.
Yes, sir. Yep. And if we had to, we might have to do a section 19 with the NRPA for modest impacts within the 250-foot setback, but we're not anywhere near tree clearing or anything that's such that would trigger a full individual permit for vernal pools, which is like a greater than 25%. But we're basically putting the vernal pools in open space to the extent possible. We just have that one vernal pool where we do have to cross that one for the roadway. And so that will require a section 19 permit. But for 128 acres of property, the permitting that I discussed is relatively minor. You could find that on a 30-acre project. So we really have done our due diligence, and the applicant has spent considerable money to adhere to the town ordinance as far as the deer wintering yards and natural areas, and we've done our research, we've hired our sub-consultants, and we really came in with a plan that is quite accurate to what the conditions are on the site, and the applicant knows where the good lots are, where the bad lots, where lots shouldn't be, and we've adjusted the roadway design so that we can make sure that the lots are on the best areas and will have acceptable soils for subsurface septic systems and such. So we, again, it's a sketch plan, but we have done quite a bit of our due diligence on this to present something that's gonna be,
I mean-
something that you're relatively gonna see for the next application.
Right, I mean, just wetlands being delineated, the deer wintering areas, the vernal pools, I mean, that's half the problem on our end.
Yeah.
When you see 120-something acres and say, oh, isn't this wonderful, and then you see the devil's in the detail of how
Yes, yep.
the layout is.
And it was interesting going through the process with hiring a flycatcher to do the deer wintering survey, and then actually having the biologist for the state come out and go through the process and reading his letter, and you know, it made perfect sense for what is and what it really isn't.
Just to put a feather in our cap, you should be lucky that we changed that deer wintering ordinance, it was 1,750 feet.
I know it was, yeah, we talked about that.
We never understood why, but we did change it.
Yeah, it's quite a setback.
So on the sketch, Sarah, do we have to actually give our opinion which way we want to go? Because, I mean, it's basically, they're maxed out roughly at 42 lots if they did traditional, so we should give them
Yeah.
guidance if we were looking to
Yes.
allow a cluster to be used versus a traditional. Okay.
Mhm.
Does anybody else, anybody on the board here have any questions at this preliminary?
Well, I know this is just a sketch plan meeting, but I guess my question is, there was already concern about Jessica's Way, the road quality of that, and now you're gonna increase the traffic that much more? I'm just wondering how that's gonna be
That will be, that's what they're
handled.
talking, this is gonna be brought up to,
brought up
Road
to
standards.
standards?
Yes.
Okay.
so which means it's gonna have to be paved all the way back down through to the hammer, I mean, to the cul-de-sacs.
Yeah, it's within a 60-foot right of way, so.
That is a 60-foot right-of-way, it was just used as, when it got developed as, there's the ordinance, you can use it as a driveway with 4 shared
Okay.
things, and it's what, 14
Yeah.
feet wide driveways or something like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
So this will all have to be brought up from here, that serve these 4 lots, will all
Yes.
have to be brought up to standard.
Okay.
Including probably that section, the original Jessica Way.
Correct.
And,
Right.
and this, obviously, this plan mitigates impacts to a great extent to neighbors within the entire area here. And if nothing else, the applicant's gonna spend more money to build the road to town standard than it's currently just gravel driveway. So I think it's a a winning situation for the area. And that no development is being proposed proximate to the abutters.
I mean, other stuff that's gonna have to be provided to it, I don't even know where the closest water draw out is, do you?
I don't.
Dry hydrants or anything like
Oh,
that?
you must know. Where the dry
Well, the
hydrants
fire
are.
pond existing in Wildwood already.
I think that would be something that we're gonna, the fire chief's gonna ask about too, if that
Oh,
fire
no,
pond's.
sure, we're gonna have to.
No, no, I understand,
Yeah.
but I mean, we're just,
Absolutely, I agree.
I mean, these are things that, you know,
I had a meeting with the fire chief and he had gone up and looked at the pond during the driest part of the summer and it had water in it.
But,
Although he doesn't really care for ponds that much,
right, it's
different fire chiefs, you know.
it's conceivable that we could have a series of cisterns. A cistern up here, a cistern at this intersection, and, to be realistic, we'll have to coordinate that with the fire chief,
oh, right,
obviously.
because that's nothing, he wants you to jump through whatever hoop for fire safety, it's
Understood.
nothing to do with us, but he's gonna have final
Yeah.
authority on that.
Of course. So, no, we are thinking that we have
Because
cisterns in several areas of this
Right.
property, yeah.
And just so you do know that you do have fire ponds across this community, not saying, Brian said that there's water up in Wildwood, but we have some in town here that don't work, and we have other areas that, we had cisterns in the ground that didn't hold water, that they had to go in, waterproof and do all this and so forth, so.
Right.
That will be something that obviously the fire chief will deal with on that end because of the amount of lots in here, this isn't,
Yeah, I had a
Small.
cistern down in Wells, actually, that wouldn't hold water as well. And they had a hell of a time to find that leak, because it was installed, right, so.
Well, the big problem with fire ponds, they fill in,
Yeah,
and if they suck sand into that pump, the pump's gone.
Yeah, most fire chiefs nowadays are going away from fire
Yeah,
ponds.
that's why they shy away from it.
Yeah.
They'll-
Now, is this whole project eventually gonna be Autumn Inc.,
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
everything?
Yeah.
So anything that says Just Right, Wildwood, that'll all disappear?
I think Wildwood's gonna stay as
Oh, well, that's
Wildwood, this
it.
is gonna be a separate subdivision of
Oh,
the
it's a
Correct.
separate one,
Yeah,
okay.
we're gonna amend the Wildwood.
So Wildwood be in with Autumn Inc.,
It'll be an abutting subdivision.
I see, okay. I was just wondering if it was gonna be included. with-
No, not necessarily.
Incorporated.
Just a 60-foot right-of-way.
Okay.
That'll be improved going through Wildwood.
I guess I don't know which way would be better to go. In my mind, I thought it was gonna be phase 2 and 3 and 4 of Wild. All gonna be Wildwood, one subdivision. I had the road stubbed into the Hancock Timberland, when I did the original phase 1 of Wildwood, and, always planned on expanding. I had gotten ill 5 years, 6 years ago, and slowed me down a little bit, but I'm back on track and ready to go.
I think we'll just need a little bit more clarification as we go forward on this.
Now, whatever the pleasure of the board is fine with me.
And we can follow up with a post-sketch plan, a letter to Scott to provide, that he could share with the board to provide a little clarification on some of these questions that we have up front as we would proceed. I mean, obviously, one of the things, first thing what I want to do as we proceed with the permitting for Stonewall Crossing is to come in here and amend Wildwood. Then we can clarify some of the non-residential questions that we have this evening as well, through the letter of Scott. Just to provide some clarification at the early stages as we go forward.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem being called Wildwood, except for, you know, you have to add something else to it, Wildwood 2, Wildwood
That's what I say,
Estates, Wildwood something
2.0.
else. I mean, that's what they do typically in big subdivisions, because, I mean, if not, you're gonna have to merge all these deeds together and everything, if you're gonna call it one big subdivision. Why do you wanna go through that when all the engineering, all that was done over here? That if you came in with the engineering just for this separate piece over here, they're not gonna believe, well, I guess you have to go back and prove that everything over here tagged onto this is gonna meet everything, so why do that when you've already got it all laid out? So, you know, just call it Wildwood Annex or something, and within the annex, that you got 2 or 3 phases of that being developed over whatever amount of time.
Okay.
Or you could call it something totally different, I mean,
Well, we were proposing Stonewall Crossing, but,
okay, well, that's fine.
yeah, I guess we put some thought into that. We can handle that with the, when we come back to amend the Wildwood subdivision.
Yeah.
Let's put some thought into that.
Anybody else here? I know we got some people in the public I'd like to get to. Well, I wanna, Cheryl, you good for now? With what clarification we got? I would suggest too that coming in, if those 3 other lots up at the top, I guess would be the northwest corner there, aren't gonna be part of any of this, it's just gonna be future land. Let's just specify that as well, so there's no confusion about that.
Right.
And you got that small one over by Rokes, and that weird one that kinda looks like what, Vermont? And then the big autumn one in there, I just delineate that, that's not part of this subdivision.
Yeah, I think the problem is that we have delineated the boundary. It probably just could have been a little thicker, because this is a large plan, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're at 200 scale, so on the computer screen, this boundary does look bigger than it is on this plan, actually, so we have tried to clarify what the boundary is, but I totally agree with you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can pick it up on me, because it's all on this, and that's, it's just, you know, those were my questions about, because all the deeds were provided, and I don't really care about that Hancock piece up top if it's not part of this, but I mean, you're just showing everything that Brian holds in that
Right.
whole area, it's just easier for you guys to put it all there, so. All right.
Took us forever to figure out what he actually had. And piece
The
this all together.
surveyors made some money on that. Okay, so no, basically what happens is the developer's coming in as a pre-sketch application, we're just kind of bantering about some stuff. If you have any questions about it at this stage, you just state your name, ask us the question, and we can kind of go from there. If not,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay. My name's Brian Corey. I live in the current subdivision. Earlier on, you mentioned about building the roads to town standards. And what are those standards? What does that mean?
It means that of the 60-foot right-of-way, what's that gonna be, 20-foot wide travel way, three or 2-foot shoulders, Scott? Two.
60.
So basically,
There's several different classifications of road going on.
right,
Is what we're looking at. We've, and Scott would know the classifications, but one's arterial.
yeah,
I don't have that right in front of me.
that's chapter 8,
The 20-foot paved road addition subdivision.
273.
So it's both arterial, local, and private, probably what we have for classifications.
It's our arterial collector and minor.
Right, arterial collector minor. So what we were proposing is, this would be arterial here, so those standards are at least 10-foot wide, right, and 4-foot shoulders, 3-foot shoulders?
You carrying an 80-foot right away with that? 'Cause that's what an arterial
And an
requires.
arterial needs an
80-foot right away.
Okay, then I might be misspoken. Again, I'm kind of subbing for the engineer tonight, so.
I mean, I don't think you need an arterial.
No, it's probably a collector,
It's a collector, minor, or private.
right, so this would be a collector.
So collector's
24
24
feet.
feet.
Yeah, 24
And
feet.
3-foot shoulders.
That'd be 20-foot, Jim was right, this is a 20-foot paved road now. We want to keep it the same.
Which piece is paved?
This is paved right there, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's paved up to this circle now.
Yeah,
If that's gonna
paved.
be up to collector standards, then it's gonna have to go
That would have to
24
get,
feet.
all that would have to get widened.
Right.
Do what now?
If that's gonna go to collector standards, Jessica Way, the total length of that, then you'd have to go to 24 feet with 3-foot shoulders.
Right.
Okay, I respectfully disagree. It's a 20-foot road, 20-foot wide paved road now.
Right, but
So-
if anything you're trying to tie into that later, you're gonna have to come up to the town road standard, and nothing was added on to that, so you'd have to go up to the new standard, which,
Correct,
since that was only servicing 15 lots,
correct.
it was a minor.
Minor,
So now you're going over 15, it's gonna be a collector.
correct,
So that if you're gonna use that as a access point,
correct.
then wherever you go back into Wildwood's gonna have to go back up to collector standard.
Correct.
I believe I got a waiver to do the 20-foot.
You have a waiver, you're not
You
gonna
had a
do-
waiver to do your 15 lots in there, but you weren't
Right.
using that to do,
Yeah, but now we've got 49 lots that we're accessing, so it's gonna be.
Correct.
This will be the collector road. This will be, it could be a collector or a minor, I'm not sure at the moment.
it depends how
You have
many.
to follow, you have to, read the standards again.
Yeah.
But to answer the gentleman's question, there's 3 different standards of road,
Yeah, sure.
right? And they're all well-defined within the ordinance.
Mhm. So and what I was asking that because what I was trying to establish was if you're adding on to it, and it sounds like you are, you're extending it, you're gonna have to bring it all the way from Bakerstown to
Absolutely.
Bakerstown, 24 feet,
Yes, sir.
3-foot shoulders.
Yeah,
Which would mean that you would end up probably, maybe even repaving. and-
yes, and improving the drainage.
Wonderful. Timeline, so would the timeline, would that have to be brought up to standards before he built? Or would it be by the time, say 3 years elapsed, he had 3 years to finish that project?
Well,
So if that's gonna be the first phase, is to connect the 2 roads, he can do that in a time frame that's, comfortable to him.
Sure.
But all those lots that are accessing that, none of them can be sold until that road is brought up to that standard.
That's
So-
what I was trying to establish.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the lots can be created, they can't be transferred
Yeah.
until that road
That's what I was
has been
saying.
brought up to standard.
Okay. All right. I think you've definitely answered my questions. Do you?
My name is Christine Foss, and I live right up on the
Extension.
road you're talking about. So there's 2 homes out there currently, and the road is, clearly there's a lot of work to be done there. I'd be curious to see how you're gonna fill it in even when you come up the road to the left, there's water there, so that's gonna impact how that all flows down into the pool. because that's where it all fills up from, is up there, so I am concerned. I'd be curious to see what the fire chief says. Right now, I think they'd have a hard time getting up to my house if we had a fire and turning around. It would be very challenging, so.
Well, we'll be improving access on the road to get up to your
Yep.
house. You know, we wouldn't be improving the access to get, if you're up in
Right.
here.
Those
Yeah.
other lots are not gonna be.
I
Correct.
think that'll be more amendable. I think the prior project, which got rescinded, I don't know why, maybe it was just a lot of blasting in a really bad spot is what I think, but I am concerned about that type of stuff too. When you get out back there, there's a lot of rock up there, as you know, Brian, it's all,
Well, we're
I've
not, we're not going up there. so-
I've never blasted over there, I don't plan on blasting anything.
okay,
I've only blasted once in my life, and that was last year over in Naples, I had to blast a
okay.
little something, but, I don't expect to do any blasting at all.
And I guess just as a homeowner, we just paved our road, our driveway, which costs quite a bit of money. And if we're gonna be tearing up roads, I don't know how that's not going to impact my driveway. What happens if there's damage to my property, I guess? How does that work?
Well, we would be all work, for the applicant would be doing all work within the right of way. And so we would be standing engineering practices, you butt up to your driveway, and then you blend those two pavement
Okay.
surfaces together. This procedure is done all the time.
Yeah, it's just hard to envision big trucks coming up through there because it's kind of off the beaten
Right.
path, I
Now,
guess, but.
well, we are talking about the.
Yes, exactly.
The major construction entrance for this project is over here. It's not Jessica's Way.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
And the applicant Brian has been working on this road already to a little bit, but no, all construction activity is over here. It's not Jessica's Way. We're just gonna be tying in and making improvements.
Yeah, but once that town road's built up to town specs, I should say private road, you're gonna have some kind of management of stormwater runoff on every one of those lots.
Well, that's what they're gonna.
And that'll have to be culverts and stuff.
Right. That's-
Otherwise, now you're gonna wash your road out.
Well, it's all gonna be taken care of in the engineering, Jim.
Yeah. And obviously, we haven't even mentioned the fact that, you know, we have to get a DOT permit for this project.
And the other thing too is, we're not going at this blindside either. I mean, they have professional engineers, we have a third-party engineer that reviews all the information that their engineers provide to. You can watch on the webpage. I mean, unfortunately, do you actually have one of these hard copies in the office always?
Yes.
Because, I don't know, I hate looking at stuff like this on an iPad, and
Yeah.
the hell with it, on a phone, it's even worse.
You're
So-
right.
So especially with drawings and things of this nature, if you have questions, you can always stop in.
Thanks, yeah.
And the third-party reviewer is gonna give them information back and say, this is what our ordinance is, you're not meeting it here, or you are, this is good, this isn't. And they go back and forth, work all that stuff out.
Okay.
So, I think that's probably the easiest way of saying that.
Yeah, thank you.
I
Appreciate
have
it.
a question.
Yep.
I'm Megan Hall, I'm in a butter that looks on Bakerstown Road. Is there a setback for the roadway from abutting properties?
Roads, I don't believe so.
There isn't, no.
There's nothing in the,
There isn't for driveways, I'd have to actually go through to see if there was one for a road.
Because this is a private road, correct?
It will be public, they're presenting it as a public road.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think that there was a setback.
I don't think there is either, because I've looked
We've never-
multiple times. But I'd want to, before I said yes, I'd want to go through it. If you want to reach out to me, send me an email.
There's requirements for how close intersections complete to one another, not necessarily for driveways.
You have any other questions at this time?
No.
Okay. Yes.
Good.
You
I'm
good?
good.
Everybody
Yeah.
good from the public?
Thank you,
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you.
So I got called out on this one last time, so this is sketch plan, so this isn't the first true application. So as abutters, you will be getting another abutter notification sent by the office. After that, there'll typically is a third meeting. You won't get one for the third meeting, so once you get one for the second, if you have any questions, reach out to the code office. If not, come in when they're presenting, and then you'll have to search the webpage
Find the next one.
and take care of it yourself for the third meeting,
Okay,
okay?
appreciate the heads up.
Yep. We'll go through the sketch plans. I guess consensus of the board, we want to see this as a cluster subdivision versus traditional, considering it's abutting a cluster,
Thank you.
which, yeah, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Plus it provides a lot of open space, unfortunately, a lot is in wetland, but you can use that in the winter.
Right.
Cluster?
Yeah.
Jim, cluster?
Yeah.
Cluster? For a cluster. So consensus of the board is.
Thank you, Vincent.
Yep. Okay. That, and lot owner, lot numbers.
Anything further?
Shall contiguous property, highway.
No, just going through the checklist.
New episode of Oak Island Junction.
Are you planning to build anything, or are you just gonna sell the lots once it's all ready?
We build houses.
You're gonna build all
My
of
son runs pretty much the building part of it. And I do more of the excavating and,
So you're gonna build all of them, not just sell some of the lots?
well, we may sell some lots to other builders.
Okay.
So there'll probably be a phased construction, because this is quite large, and so probably just start with getting this road in,
Yep.
get some lots off that, and recoup some money.
I believe I built every house in phase one.
No, I was just curious if there was a plan that you had between balancing like, people came to you and asked for a lot, would you sell it, versus if you wanted to
If
develop?
they give me enough money, I would.
That's my answer to things too.
I just try to keep things rolling.
Okay.
All right, and obviously, just part of your narrative going forward to give us an idea of what this was, because originally, Wildwood was gonna be Brian's foray into green energy building 2,400 square foot houses with breezeways into garages, so.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, well, I've been on the board long enough to remember some of these things.
That was
I remember
2011.
when Myers Development came in with their huge subdivision plans for that too,
So
so.
that was
So
2010.
just as a narrative as well, that will help us kind of,
So what you're asking for is a narrative?
oh, just a
on-
sort of narrative, I mean, it's,
On the home construction?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
that's-
because once again, this is gonna go out to the fire chief, the sheriff's department, and the school department. So if these are all gonna be starter home, ranch homes, 4-bedroom homes, 3-bedroom homes, the school committee's gonna have a different view on that,
Yep.
of if it's gonna impact their
Well,
budget.
you're gonna wanna know what the impacts to the community are.
Yes,
Yeah,
so that's
what I
why
was
it's kind of,
asking. Yeah, I was trying to see where this was headed in terms of what is it gonna be in terms of number of people?
well, that's all gonna be determined by the market, like Brian knows. I mean, because we've
Yeah,
had
but a 1
people,
or 2 bedroom home is gonna have a different,
I am
Density.
building smaller homes.
okay?
Right now, I'm building ICF homes. I'm familiar with an ICF, is an insulated concrete block home. It's a continuous R30, which is twice what a 2x6 home is as far as insulation goes. We built probably, well, we did build one on North Raymond Road a couple of years ago, so Scott, has seen one of them.
Okay.
And we built 10 or 15 of them the last couple of years over in Naples.
Okay. These are not then gonna be 4-bedroom,
No, I'm all done
size.
building 2-story colonials. We did Wedgewood, a lot of colonials down there. And it was a lot of extra work for no extra money.
In Naples?
no,
No,
which was
Wedgwood.
the south side of town.
Yeah.
okay?
All right, any, does the board want to do an on-site inspection for any reason walking out there is pretty, I mean.
No,
you've
drive
got-
by it all the time. Good enough.
But do you know the land? Have you been in
No,
Potash
I'm
Brook?
not, because it's
I
private
know you see
property,
it going
and I'm
to the
not
lake.
going in there.
Well, you probably should wait till the ticks really come out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we'll go.
All right, so
Sounds
no
like a good
on-site
time.
inspection. Okay.
But eventually, I mean, the road will be better constructed, so this summer,
Yeah.
so if anyone wants to take a
I
walk.
think
up
you want your
there.
waiters on it right now.
Yeah. All right, so can I take a, can I get a vote on the sketch plan application being complete?
Yeah. I move that the sketch application, thank you. And 0 Bakerstown Road. For Autumn Inc., map 13, lots 9A, 10, 16 through 14, 16 through 14A, 16 through 15, and 34A is complete.
Those are actually not through 14, it's like
16
16
to
15, so it's, yeah, but that's fine.
16
We
dash 14, okay.
We got it.
got it. Second, discussion? Everybody good? All in favor? All right, so you got some homework and some slogging to go through, so.
Slug it.
Thank you very much, Board. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and Scott and Sarah as well.
All right.
And we'll have fun getting going.
We got some good input, so
Okay.
appreciate the
No, always,
back and forth.
always reach out to the professional staff if you need any other clarification, please.
You guys aren't open tomorrow, I come see you.
No,
I'll come see you
I
Thursday.
kept that day.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, the next thing we have on the agenda is the site plan application, 318 Bakerstown Road, map 14, lot 15A. Brian, you want to keep these surveys for now, or you want to leave them with the office? I don't know if Sarah wants to keep them. No. You want to
You
keep
got
these?
enough paperwork?
I got enough
Well,
paperwork.
until we get the finals, I don't think they want to store all that stuff.
I do too, but all mine's on my cell phone.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Yeah, all right. So, once again, we've got the application here. Want to brief a couple, well, at least one person who wasn't at the meeting, what you'd like to do there?
Sure. My name's Dave Bellado. I'm looking into buying a property at 318 Bakerstown Road. I'm interested in moving my installation business over there. I don't know what I've never done this before, so. Pretty much, it's a date, when we're started, I usually get there around 6. Usually places where everybody's done by 4, so nobody works late, make a lot of noise or anything like that there. The only thing we're pretty much gonna be doing is storing insulation, the vehicles, stuff like that on the property. There's a living space there that I plan on using some, one way or another, I'm not sure yet. And stuff. What's that?
What's else is that again, so?
Any
Page
questions?
53, 504.4. That's 4.4C. That is basically where we would start a change of use. Then it has to be section 1 through 8.
Yeah, 1 through 8. What's the zone again, so?
Rural residential 2, I believe. That's true. Is it on your application?
I don't know what arcane is.
K, so it's hard to tell. I think it's
Well, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know if it's 2 or.
It would have to be RR2.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
far enough back to be in farm and forest.
Yeah, it's for residential too.
Go to layers, Zach.
Huh?
Go to layers. Left-hand side,
Other side.
your other left. Yep. And go down to the last one, says zoning. And then click the plus,
It's rural residential
and
too.
then hit the general zoning at the bottom there, the plus, nope. Click that back on, hit the plus.
Yep.
And scroll down.
Yep.
Rural residential 2. Thank you. What section are you?
Well, I'm just looking at
Fine.
permitted uses, how we get pigeonholed into that.
Yeah, there is no business primary, which would probably would fall under.
That's kind of what I'm.
I almost think we have to look at it, at not the previous use, but the use before, since the use that's there now really never started legally. Which are very similar uses.
Our main use is mostly storage
Right.
on everything, you know. There's no real commodities coming and going, being sold, or people trafficking really outside of us coming and going for our jobs.
I'm just wondering how we can get that in there, because it's like, the 1-8 stuff over here, I don't see as an issue, honestly. We'd have to go through and vote, you know, go through all that, but,
So you gotta go, again, you gotta go back to C, where change of use, an existing legal non-conforming use may be changed to another non-conforming use, provided that the proposed use has no greater adverse impact on the subject and adjacent properties, resources. So it doesn't have to be a use that's there, it can be.
no, I understand that, you can go from one to another non-conforming, it's just, I mean,
You buying the whole building? So the other guy's out?
Yeah.
I see. So it'll be a change of venue again.
If this is gonna be primarily storage, does that mean we have to look at the storage standards?
That what?
Storage standards?
We don't have any storage standards.
You said any type of storage lot, whether new or existing, has rules. It starts on page
That's outside,
292.
that would be outside storage, I think.
Where are you planning to store everything?
It would be
the-
inside of the main garage.
Mainly inside, I was, you see on the drawing, we get a lot of cellulose insulation, usually a truckload. And what I like to do is a drop trailer. They drop the full trailer and take an empty trailer. And it makes it a lot easier, because we just back our trucks up and we just load right into the trucks that way.
Is that what you drive
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
What is over here by the trash?
That would be a Conex container, but we had talked about, me and Scott talked about it. I'm gonna actually not bring it over there if I get it, and when I do get the property, I'm gonna see about putting it behind the building, so it ain't visible from the road.
Okay.
So the Conex isn't actually gonna go there unless I can get it behind the building.
Okay, thank you.
so what's your plan for the living quarters above?
I'm to keep it living quarters. I'm not sure if it'd be me or one of my sons or an employee or someone, you know.
There's gonna be a problem with that, Scott?
There's probably some building issues.
That's what I mean, on the
that have to be
building end.
taken care of, but that wouldn't be part of this. I mean, we've talked about that already.
Because it's being used as living space now.
Correct, but it's, if it was, was it a rental prior when Jeff,
Yeah,
so Jeff had it as a rental, okay, so.
I don't know if it was a rental, he lived there, I don't know what it was, but it was a living
No, I think he
space.
built it with his dad.
Yeah,
Originally. It's just an apartment for his dad. I think that whole thing was under like a home occupation.
Yeah,
Well, that-
I'm not sure.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been what, 91, I think, or 93, something like that.
There have been some changes in the garage unit and the office and buildings that are gonna have to be taken care of.
Yeah, and that area there, that's the area I'm planning on thinking about putting the offices underneath, so that would all be re-sheet rocked and everything up there. I know there's actually some sheet rock, a strip of sheet rock missing. So, I mean, that would all be brought up to fire standards and codes, you know.
Yeah, once again, that's nothing that we have to deal with, that's,
Yeah.
you're going through Scott on all the building stuff, so. All right. Change of use, anyone think that this is gonna be any more of a greater adverse impact than what was there before, kind of a, I don't even know, was it a repair shop, a salvage
It was
shop?
supposed to be repairs and used car sales,
Right, which it never turned into.
turned into a junkyard,
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm getting at, okay.
And I think when we had approved that before, we said there had to be a fence.
There was, yeah,
Put up-
that's why,
put
I
up there.
mean, it never got completed, so
Right.
I'd be fair to say that never got started.
Right.
Does there need to be a fence in this use case?
Right, that's what I'm wondering, would that
Well-
carry over?
He's got employee parking there, it's not like he's gonna hide used junk cars. I mean, we knew he was gonna bring in cars for repair that would be behind that fence, I think that's what we were looking to hide.
Okay.
We have nice brand new vans.
How many?
What's that?
How many?
3 would be 3.
We got 3 box trucks.
You said you're gonna park most of those in the,
The 2 newer ones, I'm gonna try to keep them indoors as much as we can, especially in the winter, you know. But then one's a 23, one's a 24, so they won't look bad, you know what I mean? Everything looks pretty good. We also got a pickup, forklift, you know, stuff like that, so. Which is probably the noisiest thing we have is the forklift. And you can barely hear it if you're across the street, you know what I mean? It's very quiet. It's not a big one, so.
Well, I wouldn't be saying, I wouldn't be saying out loud that OSHA it doesn't have a loud enough backup on it.
It does have a backup beeper.
Yeah, so we are being honest now.
I was looking on this,
So.
is that 400 amp meter still out there?
Yeah, it's still
I
there.
was gonna say, you guys must be paying the commercial rate.
I probably won't be using it,
I'm gonna say, I think I'd be changing that.
So I guess,
but that's what's in
I
it.
don't think it is a big.
I guess getting back to, the only adverse impact that I could see is the hours of operation being different. I mean, they weren't, I think the previous people were looking, they were talking 6 days a week, 7 days a week,
so it
whatever.
was 6 days, it was like
Yeah, it was
8
6.
to 5, and then
Right.
like 9 to noon on Saturdays.
Yeah, it was something like that. And that's the only thing I'm seeing is the yard hours there is whatever, so. So basically, you come in, you load up for your next job the previous evening, people come in, drop off their pickup to get
Yeah,
their
if they
big
get
box
back
trucks.
early enough, we load up at the end of the day, and they're ready, and they get, come in the morning, they just get in the truck and go. If they get back too late, then we load up in the morning. Which most of that would primarily take place in the building also, because, you know what I mean?
Would the
So-
storage of the trailer, would that storage come from the trailer into the warehouse during the day? Or would you drop?
No, that would be loaded directly into the trucks.
So there would be, let's just say you're there at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I hear what you're saying, yeah.
That backup.
Yeah. We could, I mean,
No, we wouldn't be using a forklift, there wouldn't be a backup. It'd be just from truck to truck.
yeah, we back right up to it with our
We
truck
got
and truck
pallet
in my
jacks and
hand.
we just roll it to the back of the
Yeah.
truck and,
We do that now to reduce noise where we're located right now.
Do you have any debris from projects, or this is all new
Most of the
material?
debris is discarded at the jobs.
Yeah.
Usually if we got a homeowner job, that comes back, and I've got a dump trailer that we usually keep.
We
on
dispose of
site,
it all.
and we get rid of it usually within a week or two. Once the trailer, fills up, basically, we go to the dump.
But everything's pallets or bags of trash that are all in bags, so there's no like loose debris. There's
Right, that'll get
fiberglass
blown
everywhere,
around.
scrap ground, everything's very tightly packed up for the
Yeah,
dump.
it'd be nice to have the improvement of not having a lot of trash. on
Yeah, yeah.
properties.
You
Oh,
would
yeah.
never see our trash if you went to our location right now. Everything's very tightly
Yeah.
packed away.
All the trash that comes back is, we actually peel the bags off of it. We don't use rolls, we use commercial tubes.
Mm,
So we turn it into, we just peel it off and it becomes a trash bag. So
Yeah.
every job is bagged up, and then the bags they're too heavy to get rolling around. You know what I'm saying? So-
well, you do also have a dumpster you indicated, so, or
Yeah,
a trash
yeah,
dumpster, yeah.
Yeah, we stay right on top of that. It's never been an issue for us.
Anybody else have any questions on the hours of operation if they're?
So just to clarify, the hours of operation would be like 6? in
Yeah,
the
6
morning?
to 4.
6 to 4? And that would be 5 days?
Yeah.
6 days, 5 days, Monday through Friday?
Monday through
It's Monday through Friday. Very seldom do we work on a Saturday. And usually, it's just jump in the truck, go, and because we didn't get done on Friday, But that doesn't happen too often.
But if they wanted to do business on a Saturday, even if it was on a rare
Well,
day,
that's
should they
why I'm
include it?
saying, you should say
Should
that
include it.
Okay.
Oh, I understand the basis
Just-
for that,
Because
Right.
if you say it's gonna be a Monday to Friday operation and somebody's
Season's
persnickety
getting
about
us up
something,
on
say, we
Saturday.
saw.
Sorry,
I'm in the
Saturday.
building trade as well, so I mean, stuff, I understand how stuff can get behind and so
Yeah.
forth, so if you gotta go in for a half a day on Saturday, it sucks, but you just do what you gotta do.
Right.
And I don't want somebody to say, well, their permit or their site plan application was only Monday through Friday.
Right.
So,
Just to
Like
cover
Monday
yourself
through
for that
Saturday.
rare
Yeah.
Saturday.
Sunday definitely don't.
Yeah.
So Monday through Saturday, 6 to 4.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
mhm. All right, is everybody fine with this C here, because then we're gonna have to go back up through 1 through 8. Okay.
Yep.
All right, number 1. Change of use will not create a traffic hazard nor increase an existing traffic hazard. You're saying you're running 3 trucks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They leave in the morning, they come back whenever they're done, through the day, so.
How many employees, roughly?
There's 7 of us coming there.
So you'll have 6 or 7 personal vehicles that come onto the site, and then 3,
There'll be 3, 4, maybe 5 personal vehicles, usually at a time. Of course, we could, as time goes, hire more people too, but for now.
so how do you even go about figuring out the, what are we gonna call that, Scott, through parking? I mean, there's plenty of room for parking there, correct?
I guess we'd have to go back to business primary. So,
Yeah, I don't know.
office, warehouse,
Yeah, maybe not.
I mean, there's parking,
I think I had him approved for 10 cars over there, and 10 on the other side, if I read it right. Am I not right?
The previous owner?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spots.
The 2 of the trucks you plan to keep inside most of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, aren't you glad I listed the tables?
Did you find it?
No.
I always have a hard time finding that one.
Well, you guys have the iPad, then you can just type in the word.
Yeah,
You
I
can
left it
actually.
in my car.
No? What, it's charging next door or where?
No, it's actually at home.
Oh, okay.
'Cause I had an inspection on the way home.
just trying to find it in the index. I can't really find it real quick. 75, anyhow.
It's 122.
Table of minimum parking standards, 122. You only had an iPad.
It's based on square footage. You got 960 square feet of office space.
Office. Yeah, one space for every 150. So that's 7. 6 plus something, so 7. That's just rounding.
Yeah, well, you probably ought to have a couple for the apartment as well. I mean, there's plenty of spaces for parking, plenty of places for parking on that side.
Yeah, you have 2 for that, so you're still 9.
You were saying that you're gonna have one storage container out back,
If I can get it behind the building.
yeah.
When I went, every time I've been there, the ground's been covered with snow, so I'm not sure what's under there.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that, I know there's some ledge in that area, so.
So you
I might have
you
to-
won't be adding any more storage container out in the future then?
No, not unless I can
Yeah.
get it behind the building.
I see.
Yeah.
All right, so the parking's gonna be met, which is 2. Number 3, the amount of noise, odors, vibrations, smoke, dust, and air discharges of the proposed expansion change of use shall be equal to or less than the present use.
Sounds like it, yeah.
I believe consensus, yes. The rate of surface water runoff from the site will not be increased, they're not changing anything. So, unless you, well, actually, even if they do, it's gonna be on impervious stuff, so that wouldn't change. Hours of operation, expansion, change of use will be compatible with the existing surrounding land uses. What's, Well Bay up there, is that a house, or, because the other is the storage
Yes,
stuff?
that's a house back there.
Okay.
It's way back.
Yeah, there's that long driveway, right?
Yeah.
Is there gonna be any more than what's there?
No, I wouldn't. Five, consensus?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. 6, change of use will not increase the adverse impact on surrounding properties. I don't believe so. Versus what was there. Will not encroach further onto the required setbacks, which it's not, because nothing's changing. Require site plan review, approval shall be obtained prior to expansion, so that's why they're here. All right. Anybody have any questions? Basically going from something that was promised to be nice into something that hopefully will be nice.
I'll hold you to it.
We absolutely can. We take pride in our cleanliness and I show a face for our
He drives 11 all the time and you take it on the wrong side.
Do we want to have them amend the parking to show some additional parking?
Yeah,
I mean, we're probably looking at 14 if we,
you thinking you need 14 then?
yeah, I mean, he's got 10 there, and I think you need a little more. I mean, you only need 5.4 over here for the warehouse part of it.
Right.
But we will go 6.4 over here.
You understand what he's saying? So basically, he's saying, take this,
Yeah,
redraw this, show 12?
Yeah, and I would show the additional ones on at the parking office area.
At the office.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
show the additional ones over in here.
Okay.
It's just, we have to have something on file.
Sure.
So,
Well, if you're thinking of hiring employees in the future, should you add a couple more, just if you can?
Would it be a problem if I added a couple more in the back?
I mean, they can go all the way
Well,
up.
Where in the
They would-
back?
If they can meet the standards
On the
of the
back side.
warehouse.
Yeah, over that way,
Okay.
where,
With
where
the
it says
trash?
Connex,
Yeah.
because there's plenty of room there.
Can you put them here?
Yeah, there's plenty of room there.
Yeah.
Because it's right against it.
Put a few over there and a couple more in front.
Just to cover you for the future? Yeah.
Is there a deed, there a deed in here?
There is a purchase and sale agreement.
It's not like that this is a radio station or anything like this, but you want to give out the name of your business?
It's creative closets and insulation.
We might
Signs.
wanna- I noticed one in here. Do you have a letter from the property owner now? We probably ought to have one on file saying that they can do this application on his behalf, because it's still his.
Yes.
I think we
You're
had
talking
one,
about
we
Evans.
had one on file
From Jeff.
from Jeff, so I think that's probably something we should have on file.
So yeah, it's just a letter from John saying that you can, because you don't own the property yet, you haven't closed on it, that you can come in and get approvals for your future business, even though, because you haven't bought it yet completely. And it's wicked simple.
Sure.
So we'll get to the next thing that we hadn't discussed either. Signs, what are you looking to do for signs? Any sign? I mean,
Weren't really sure what we were gonna do with the sign, if we were gonna do one at all. We don't have anybody there. I mean, I'd like to probably put up something. I was gonna check, see what the ordinance was. I know most towns have ordinances for signs.
Oh, ours is very long.
ours is long, that'll make your head spin.
Get yourself a coffee and.
The sign is up.
There's still a sign out, that sign.
I'm not sure what's there right now.
It was on that old car frame, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think there's old
There
lettering
was
still on the
something
garage
there.
door.
I can
It's like
guarantee
painted
you,
on the
make
door.
it look better.
It says Independence Auto or something like that on the door.
There used to be one up on the road, but I don't think it's there anymore.
I didn't see it.
Landscaping plan,
Not really changing anything, so we want
We did a site walk over there when he
What's that?
bought that place. We did a site walk.
Yeah, you said that last
Yeah.
time I was here.
stormwater. You want that to be just on file, or?
it has to be, I guess. They're not changing anything, so.
That's right.
Right.
No hazardous waste, blah, blah, blah. State's gotta get involved in.
You don't do spray foam anyway, so there's no.
There's no spray foam, it's just cellulose.
Yeah, so I go fiberglass also.
Anyone wanna do another on-site inspection?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
I'll check it out after we get it, I'll fix that.
Oh, there'll be an on-site inspection after you fix it up.
Just not by all of us.
Some of them.
Yeah, I'll be by.
Good, good.
Public hearing for this? No. No. All right, I guess we can have a motion for the checklist, please.
I make a motion that we accept the checklist for site plan application 318 Bakerstown Road, David Bellevue, map 14, lot 15A, as complete.
Second.
With a revised drawing showing the additional parking.
No,
What?
that's the next one.
Oh,
This
I'm
is
sorry,
just
this is
checklist.
checklist, yeah,
Yeah.
checklist. Second, all those in favor? All right, now we can do the formal with the,
And the letter from John Hamm.
Yeah.
and then the letter from John.
Okay. So I make a motion that we accept the site plan application, again, correct? 318 Bakerstown Road, David Bellevue, map 14, lot 15A, with the,
No sidewalk,
with no sidewalk.
no public
No public
hearing,
hearing,
amend the drawing for parking,
amend the drawing for parking,
and a letter from the current owner for permission to come to planning board.
and a letter from the previous owner, John Emmons, for you to come before the planning board for a change of use.
Can I have a second, please?
If he ever wanted to hide something in that area, would he be allowed to put up a stockade fence in that area?
Yeah.
He would, okay. I just thought I'd ask.
Do we have a second on that?
No.
I'll
Yeah.
take a second.
Questions? All those in favor? So basically, a couple small things you need to do. This gives you everything you need that, I guess, that you can go back to the bank and show them it's an allowed use, and, or however you're dealing with that. You'll have to deal with the building office here, the code office, with permits that you need. And then if you're going to do anything with the upstairs apartment, I guess, there's gonna be issues with that, to have living space above this, so.
Yeah, his
You'll
biggest
have to-
concern was about fire and
It's,
sheetrock.
fire separation,
Yeah,
things of that nature.
which will make sure it's taken care
They're
of.
gonna make some adjustments on the inside for their storage, so.
Yeah, okay, so we'll do that all at the same time, yeah, so.
When is your closing?
We don't have a date yet, we're kind of making sure we can go there first before, you know.
This was kind of our, is it gonna happen or not, you know? Your approval determine the.
Whether we move forward or not,
Yeah.
you know.
Right, but if you, given everything's in place, are you looking to move in for the summer?
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
John wants to go as soon as we can, so,
Okay.
the previous, now, so. He's itching,
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, congrats.
thank you.
If you have any other questions,
Sure.
please, you can give them a call.
Yeah.
Figure out what you need to do.
Awesome, we thank the board for your time. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You have a good night.
Thank you too.
I was wondering, you know that package I turned in?
Yes.
Any chance I could get a copy of that? I didn't
Absolutely.
keep a copy for myself.
Absolutely, we're closed tomorrow, but come by Thursday or Friday and definitely a
All
good
right.
copy.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
I was just gonna say that. I mean, is it gonna recycle?
You might not want all the rest of the.
Yeah, all right, any other business? I forgot to mention that we had a voting member today, that, our alternate, so I'm sure
Yes.
you put that in.
I did.
Good to see you again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice to see you.
I shaved my beard since you last seen me.
I
I mean, it's still,
It's been a
but it's not,
know, well,
good.
Because
Mud
I've stumbled
season's-
through
Mud
it.
season's driving you nuts, so other than that, you're good.
Yes,
Good. Anything you have?
no, I do
Any
not,
other
thank
business?
you for asking.
Yeah, Jim?
We've come pretty close to not having a meeting a couple of times. Sarah called you one night, and poor Cheryl, she was sick, and she showed up anyways.
All right, you good, Jim? You got any?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm all set.
I just have a question. So there's supposed to be a committee that's looking for new internet in the town to give spec.
Broadband.
Where's that at? Is that
It's
like
already-
happening?
It's already happening.
Yeah, there is a
Happening?
committee, they're having meetings, I don't know the specifics of it, I think it's on the website.
Okay.
But definitely reach out to Nikki or reach out to me and I'll see what I can find and point you in that right direction.
Okay, perfect. That's it.
All right, well, we went from having no subdivisions in town to having two within a matter of 2 meetings, so, we got anything else coming up? Because remember you said nothing, and then all of a sudden Sarah said, and then all of a sudden we get flooded with everything?
Oh, jeez.
We good?
I'm good.
Yeah, I think Stuart said he might have some shoreline stuff, but I don't have no idea when he's coming in with that.
Whatever happened to the 4 phases of Larry Rogues?
Let's
Let's
make
adjourn
a
the
motion to
meeting.
adjourn. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, now what, Joe?
Good night.